Back at it again. It's your man DJ Ekin, Tampa's most connected DJ, along with my guy Crisco Kidd. For everybody who hasn't been here before, who may just be joining us, because I appreciate the fact, first of all, giving this man his flowers while he's here, Crisco's reach out there. So you may be checking things out because you know Crisco, you follow him, and you're like, well, who's this other guy here? This is the Players Playlist, right? And so this is not. I know it's on the same channel if you follow me like on any of the social platforms and that sort of thing, but this actually is not exactly the DJ Ekin podcast. What we do here is I myself game DJ for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I don't say any other teams out loud, so Crisco can tell you his credentials. And then we have a guest as well. Crisco, where do you rock at so that they can know that?
You already know, man. Catch me inside State Farm Stadium every home game, in-game host, and yeah, we do what it do, baby.
Arizona Cardinals out there, and of course, the thing we like to do here is we talk sports, we talk, we talk game entertainment. There's a little bit of pop culture, but the biggest thing that Crisco and I wanted to do out the gate was we wanted to find our way around the country and find some dudes, females, folks that were in this space that we're in, and really talk to them about, the things that they enjoy and how they do it. And Crisco, this doesn't have anything to do with you, but I think today this guest, it's a little personal because I've been talking to this dude about joining me on these platforms, right? And all of a sudden, the Steelers play the Buccaneers. It doesn't go so good for Tom Brady and the boys. And suddenly, my guy, Digital Dave, his schedule is open. He's available. Dave, what up, man?
What up? It's been a good week.
It's been a good week?
It's been a good week, yeah. We played some football, won some football game. It's been good. How's your week been? Well, how was your Sunday?
So we're just gonna jump right in, right? Well, you know what? Actually, to be honest, like seriously, and what one of the things I want to do before I even go into how I was, because I don't want to take the mood down suddenly, is I think that some of the things that you're doing are really dope, and what you do. Let's talk a little bit first about who you are and what you do, and then we'll come back to how my Sunday didn't go so well. Take it away, man. What, I know you're rocking up in Pittsburgh, man. If anybody that's been to one of those games has seen you on the back of one of those trucks in there. So your official title with the Pittsburgh Steelers and that sort of thing. And what do you do up there?
So I mean, it's funny. I don't even know from the team themselves if I have an official title. But basically, I play all the music in game, and I kind of help curate the music pregame. So the way we have things set up in Acrisure Stadium, formerly Heinz Field, our sponsor just changed this year. So after 21 years as Heinz Field, we're now Acrisure Stadium. So pregame, we have a DJ, Derek Galiffa, DJ Galiffa, and he plays all the like player warm-up music and the walk-in music. And he is, God bless him, he is outside in the Pittsburgh elements until January sometimes. Gets a little cold up here in the wintertime. But so I kind of, curate what he's doing pregame. I mean, obviously the players pick their playlist, kind of the stuff before the players' playlist comes on. I'm really curating and kind of also running through our game day producer. And then about 20-25 minutes prior to game time, I take over and I'm up in the booth. I'm actually in with our in-game production crew with everyone that does all of the audio as well as the video and TV stuff within the stadium. And I'm in that booth. And so I basically play from 20 minutes out, through the entire game.
Wow. So
he's like the game day conductor. Like, you know what I mean? He's doing everything. Wearing all the hats, all the jerseys.
So how did you like, because Pittsburgh is, and this is the sports guy talking here, Crisco. Pittsburgh is a storied franchise. When they're looking at entertainment, and you can tell me how long you've been doing this, it seems a lot of times when you look at an organization like that, right, they're kind of like, they'll say, they're set in their ways. They've been doing things a certain way. How did the conversation start to where they were going to have an in-game DJ like yourself, someone who, what I'm saying? Because once you start doing that, it's not as in control per se, unless you guys have this super working relationship. And I'm sure you know as well as I do, right? You have to be open-minded like the three of us have to be, because you're working with people who often don't do what we do, but they do come from a side of they're presenting these game situations. They're presenting this entertainment for the fans. How did that come about, and how has that working relationship been for you, and as an adjustment from being like the DJ you are for events and parties that you regularly do, as opposed to working with the NFL?
So so to go back to the way I started, it was 2016. I was doing the music for the University of Pittsburgh in the same stadium. So University of Pittsburgh Panthers, my alma mater, share the same stadium with the Steelers. It's kind of a rare situation. I think there's a few around the country, but our NFL team and our largest college in the area play in the same stadium. So the Steelers game day producer, Chris Burns, he has to be there on all game days for the University of Pittsburgh, because he basically oversees the control room there. And, especially, God forbid, like an emergency happens, something major stops working, a weather emergency, whatever, like he's got to be on site for all those game days. So he would get to hear me playing basically on game days for the University of Pittsburgh. So that year comes to like middle of the fall, and he actually reaches out to me and he says that Christmas Day, we're playing the Ravens, and Christmas Day, the DJ wanted off. Our local, the regular guy they had there playing music, who really, he was like a college radio DJ, but he didn't really have much, quote unquote, real DJ experience. But the guy that did the music, he wanted off for the day, and because it was Christmas, family and stuff. And I mean, I have a family too, but obviously I jumped at the opportunity to work with the team. I grew up in Pittsburgh. This is just, my team I watched my whole life growing up. So Christmas Day, I did kind of shadow a few games, and then Christmas Day comes along, do the Christmas Day game with the Ravens, national TV. We end up winning the game, clinching first place in the division by winning that game. And then after the game, he reached out and he's like, hey, can you play next Sunday's game against the Browns? And I'm like, sure, like I can do that. So come in, do the Browns game. And then we went to the playoffs. We were hosting Miami, and he's like, hey, can you do the game against Miami next Sunday in the playoffs?
Something's brewing.
Finally, at that point I ask, I'm like, so am I, is this going to be my job permanently? Like, I'd love that, but like, just kind of tell me instead of asking me one game at a time here. So I did that game, and he said, yeah, if you want this job, it's yours. And I think my theory is that I think they wanted to kind of try me out, and I think they did it under the guise of like I was filling in, so that if they didn't like what I did, it would be like no hard feelings, like you filled in a game and we appreciate that. And then if they did like what I did, they were going to keep me on.
Well, and the rest is history. You've been doing it, what, like 6, 7, how many years has it been? Six
So yeah,
years now?
16. So yeah, this is, I think, my seventh season.
Gotcha.
So which, and this is, and I'm sure as you know, that people in our positions with a lot of teams don't last a long time. I think probably I'm the longest person doing music with the team since they've had, been playing pre-recorded music at games. So. And to go into kind of, I guess, my working game day relationship, you also asked that too. So basically, what I do, which is, definitely extra work, but at the same on the front end, but on the back end, it creates for a smoother, I guess, working relationship. So basically anything that I want to play in game, like I pass these songs along to my boss beforehand. Right. And so I have, crates of music, and I have, a level of autonomy in game within those crates. However, basically, every song that I play during a game has been listened to and approved before it's being played in the game, because obviously, NFL team, big spotlight, and, there's definitely, I'm sure you deal with this down there too, that they want not just there to be no curse words, but no crazy references to like drugs, sex, shootings, things like that. So I mean, I end up making a lot of personal edits of songs too, where I'm taking the existing radio edit and cutting more stuff out of the radio edit. But my boss is super cool, and I mean, he is. We're right around the same age. He grew up in New Jersey, right outside of New York City. So like, he's like a huge like Biggie and Wu-Tang, like old school hip hop fan. So we're definitely like very, very simpatico in our musical taste. So we have a good relationship as far as that goes. And there are some times where, certain things, the upper level, bosses, we hear like, oh, we don't want this anymore. We don't want that. But, we make it work, and we're really trying to play. It's crazy in a football game. You're trying to play for everybody. So, I mean, you have, kids there, you have adults, you have people that want to hear classic rock. You want to have people that want to hear, hip hop. Obviously, the players mostly want to hear hip hop. So you're really trying, I mean, playing everything from like, Black Sabbath to, Drake and Travis Scott to, Justin Bieber, in a game, which is crazy.
Yeah, it's a real eclectic day. Crisco, I know you're like itching to jump in here. I know you wanted to like.
I just think it's interesting. Every stadium has like their protocol, right? And how to prepare for the game day, where what we do, I think the only concern is we know what's going to be radio edit, and it's just kind of playing what the players want. And then also what the fans, because we want to give the fans, like you said, the greatest, the ultimate game day experience. But do you find yourself playing more for players, playing more for fans, or do you just kind of keep it 50-50? Is it more players during warm-up, or do you just kind of keep the same kind of strategy throughout?
Well, so I would say when it's an in-game situation, we're playing for players. So if it's like, defense coming out onto the field or in between downs type stuff, in those moments, we're playing for the players. If it's TV timeout and, we got 2.5 minutes of just kind of like, showing some fans up on the big screen and just kind of taking a step back and relaxing. In those moments, we're playing for fans. So it's really based on the moment, really. If it's in game, definitely players, and if it's kind of, when we're on commercial break, halftime, things like that, we're playing for the fans.
I think I kind of know the answer to this, but how big is the Wiz Khalifa situation? To how much does that mean? We think back years ago, right, when he dropped Black and Yellow, right? That was a super huge deal because the Steelers and who you guys are. And you're a Pittsburgh guy, so I know I'm asking the right guy. How big is the Wiz Khalifa thing, or his songs? Do they still matter that much in the stadium? Like Black and Yellow, perfect example, right? Is that still one of the songs that moves the stadium? Because like in Atlanta, there's probably songs that have dropped there. Like I'm sure Swag Surfing is crazy in Atlanta, even though it's a crazy song across the board, right? But I'm sure if you play it in Atlanta, it's like extra crazy, right? So when I'm thinking Wiz Khalifa.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, Black and Yellow is, we play that for extra points, and that's like our end of the game win song. Like when the clock hits zeros, and we win, we play that. And in those moments, it gets a great reaction. I mean, it's really scripted to those moments. I definitely play some other Wiz, here and there in games. It's just kind of like, filler music. But yeah, I mean, Wiz definitely still has a big following in Pittsburgh, and so does Mac Miller as well. And I feel like Mac Miller doesn't maybe get as much play outside of Pittsburgh. I don't know, but like Mac's music is still really, really big in Pittsburgh. And, I definitely, in games even play some Mac, things like Knock Knock and the Spins and stuff like that.
Let me ask this question, because I want to talk about the Here We Go song. I've only been to Pittsburgh, I think once, maybe twice. But the last time I was there was when the Steelers played the Cardinals in the Super Bowl, because I went to Groundhog's Day the next day on that Monday, and on that Sunday was that big Super Bowl game. But I had never heard the Here We Go, dun 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 dun, dun here we go. I mean, Ekin, you look like you've never heard that song
Hey,
before?
man, I'm waiting for Dave to give me the lesson here because you got me in a space right now where I feel like I'm about to learn something.
It was just like, here we go. Pittsburgh's going to the Super Bowl. But like, I think the guy redid it or redoes it every year. And so is that song along with the Yellow Tower, are those like still real big staples of the city?
So that song that song originally came about with like the 90s Steelers, like whenever we went to play Dallas in the Super Bowl in the 90s and lost. That was when that song originally came about. And you are correct. And the guy kept redoing it. The group was called, I think, the Fan Club. And it was just this local group of guys. And they kept redoing the song every year, year after year, and changing the players' names. I'll be honest, I didn't even realize that it was still around because I feel like that was 2008 season, I believe, was when we played the Cardinals in the Super Bowl. And I didn't even know that song was still kind of like, and they might still redo it, but it's not something really that's played game day. I mean, it's not something, maybe it was played in the stadium ages ago, but never since I've been around. And I don't really hear fans playing it anymore. I mean, again, it was a big thing in the 90s, and this guy might still redo it. But, our big song, other than Black and Yellow, our big song is Renegade by Styx. And this song has a video that accompanies it. They update usually the video from game to game. So we always play it before a big moment on defense. The beginning of that song is just basically a cappella for, a good 30, 45 seconds. And so what we do, we have to do it because we play like this, a good chunk of the song. So it has to be played during a commercial break. And really it has to be played on a commercial break when we're on defense. We always do it in the fourth quarter. So we're kind of at the whim of like when the network takes their breaks and whether we're on defense or offense. But basically we black out all the boards, all the rails, the boards, everything in the stadium. We black them out for about 5-6 seconds, almost kind of to get the fans know it's coming. They get all hype. And then the song comes on. And it's basically a montage, a defensive montage. And we usually, we'll show pictures of, us, sacking, making hits on the quarterback from the other team if we played them in, previous history. And so, that's Renegade by Styx is like the big quote unquote song. I mean, I'm not even playing it. It's because it's tied to a video. They're playing it via video. But that would be what I would say is the big Pittsburgh song. But now I'm actually curious.
Hold on. Because I feel like right now you just got a little personal. You were talking about, we play the song, there's a video hitting the quarterback. I ain't going to let you go there too much because, again, we're going to come back to this week. But I do, before I get into like a recap here, because again, Crisco and I try to stay within 30 minutes. Can you give me the top 5 joints that you feel like you need every game right now?
Oh, and
you're an eclectic dude, so I'm expecting to go almost anywhere here.
We heard the Renegade. Do we count Renegade as one?
Well, we got Renegade is one. I mean, I guess
you can include that or not include that, but if you feel that it's one that you are like, Digital Dave has to have this.
That's
right.
One of those ones where, like, if we have a game, if we have a game where either we're getting blown out or we're blowing out the other team, and we don't play it because of, it's not even a close game. Like, fans will literally be upset after the game that they didn't hear Renegade. Like, it's literally that big of a deal. So, that has to be one. A big one for me that I still like to drop in defensive situations, like defense taking the field, like big moment, would be Never Scared by Bone Crusher. I guess I would say in a similar situation, Mo Bamba as well. Stand Up and Shout by Steel Dragon definitely is another one. We usually use that with the noise meter, and that one always gets a good pop from the fans. And one more. Trying to think, like, because I try to mix it up. Like, those are like core ones that get good reactions. I'm going to throw in "Party Up" by DMX, because that's something I usually like to go to when we, like, you know, if it's late fourth quarter, we're on defense and we get that final defensive stop and we're going to get the ball back and just kind of like kneel it out. Like, that's my go-to in those moments. You know, kind of when we've in essence clinched a game.
Yeah, that Party Up one, I think, like, everybody, even though Party Up is at least 20 years old by now? Like, what is that? Is that 2000?
I think it was like 01,
yeah,
01,
so
I think. Yeah.
That's a 20-year-old still banger, and you drop that and everything goes crazy.
It's one of those weird, it's one of those ones, and I feel like in what we do, we like look for these songs. It's one of those songs that like a 50-year-old and a 20-year-old are going to both respond to, you know, and there's not a lot of songs in that vein, but like, that's, I feel like what we're always looking for is what are those songs that someone that's a little older and someone that's like just out of college are still both going to enjoy this same song.
Yeah. Crisco, I saw you here, and I know you guys can't see each other. So to everybody watching, it's like a little bit of a technical thing. So I'm kind of playing referee as well. Crisco, go ahead, man. Jump right in.
No, I think whenever we ask different DJs, like, what's their go-to, I think every region, I'm not surprised that we may hear songs that are more regionally or just that get their crowd going for whatever reason it might be. And it didn't, I think sometimes people think like the artist or whatever has to come from that city or that region. I think sometimes whatever record works and whatever record like your stadium loves, you gotta throw it in, man. It's about the people, it's about the vibe, and whatever the culture of the organization and the fans want, you got to give it to them, man. So I love that. And I love hearing different DJs, like their five or what they have to play in their playlist. It's amazing. Yeah,
I think one of the good points too that Dave made, and I think this is going to make me shift a little bit, Dave, and ask you something else, is like, I watch so many DJs online, and Dave, we are often in the same discussions because that's how I really became, like, you know, a fan of what you do and watching your work, of like, so many guys are watching videos and trying to be like, oh, well, I can crab. Oh, well, I can do this. I can flare. I can do this. When to me, if 70% of these DJs actually just had a better selection, these events would be better. Like to me, selection, I watch so many dudes that can kill a party because they have such a dope selection. And they may not know every genre of music because, you know, now open format's a big deal, right? So they may not be as well versed. But what they do know, they are so dope because they've met, you know, they're so, you know, in that field, right? And it doesn't have to be the deepest hip hop, doesn't have to be the deepest house, but they do know the hits to make that crowd move, Dave. So when I guess my question to you is, right, is, and I've saw you mention this before, right? It's two things I want to ask you about. First of all, how important is it to you when you're talking to DJs or DJ friends that they understand, look, man, at least learn something about the craft? And then my second question I want you to touch on is, we've had this discussion on marketing yourself as opposed to actually being a good DJ. And they could be one and the same. So without making your answer like too long, I know I gave you a bunch to think about there. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, absolutely. I will to the death. And I don't even know if you know this about me, but I do a lot of DJ education as well. Like, I speak at conferences. I'm speaking at DJ Collective in Nashville next month. I'm speaking at Wedding MBA in Las Vegas next month. I've talked at like Marquee Show in Chicago, Midwest DJs in Milwaukee, DJ Expo in Atlantic City. And really the first thing that I started ever talking about, and that the first time I approached a show and I wanted to speak at a show, I said, you know, I wanted to speak about DJing. And I said I would go to these shows and they talk about marketing, they talk about MCing, they talk about Instagram, you know, all these things, sales process, and none of them would actually talk about DJing. And I said, I want to talk about DJing. And so my first, you know, the first show I went to, the first thing I talked about was programming, and was, you know, how music selection is so much more important than anything else we do. And I kind of had a mind-blowing moment years ago. I was in Columbus, and there was a DJ friend of mine came out to see me. I'm playing a club, and his name is Bombay. And if you look up DJ Bombay, and you can find him online, dude is a crazy turntablist. Like he He's competed in DMCs. Like, he can beat Juggle on 45 speed. Like, it's dude is insane. And he came up to me. We're just bullshitting before the gig, and he literally looked at me and he said that I wish I could do what you do. And I looked at him and I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, you're insane. Like, I wish I could do what you do.
Right.
But he said, my mind, he said, like, you know, I hear all like the noises and the sounds and the snares and the kicks but he's like, I can't wrap my head around like really like programming for a crowd in like a nightclub. And that like blew my mind for him to say that to me. And I mean, I just have so much respect for him and his talents and his craft and what he can do. But yeah, I agree that really when it comes down to it, no matter what, like, I'm never seeing, you know, DJs, you know, do some, you know, great cuts. And I mean, I've gone to, you know, watch Qbert and see a bunch of DJs, you know, with Qbert and watch him for 10, 15 minutes. And it's awesome. And then after like 15 minutes, everyone's kind of starts to almost get disinterested because it's just kind of, he's incredibly talented, but it's just still more of the same thing where it's like the emotion of the music and the song selection is really what moves people. And that's really the ultimate, in my mind, the biggest way that you can be successful as a DJ, more than, you know, scratching or routines or anything like that. And as an open format DJ, I'm really hard on myself in that, like, I want to be good enough in music that, like, if I go in and play a hip hop party, I want to be as good as the guy that's playing, you know, only hip hop parties and playing hip hop every week. And if I go in and play like I used to play in after hours and play like tech house and stuff, and I'm like, I wanted to be good as the guys that would play house music every single week. And that was all they did. And it's a lot more research and it's a lot more work, but I've also been doing this 27 years and it makes it a lot more fun to me that I can do so many different types of gigs and I'm just not playing the same music all the time.
I agree. I mean, yeah. Well, think about it. So like you look in radio and, you know, a lot of program directors will tell you, hey, mix shows are cool. We want to keep them as part of the culture. This is what we got to do. But at the same time, a lot of consultants, they're looking at when are people tapping out? When are they punching out to go to the next station? Because it might be too much scratching. For the average listener, the average consumer of like music, at the end of the day, most people just want to hear their favorite song. Like it's the people that really appreciate the art and the skill of DJing that will listen a little longer. And I think it's just about finding that balance. And when you can find the balance, like Chris V, I think is really effective at doing the tricks and playing the hits and doing things that the crowd wants, doing the things that the DJs that, you know, watch him and that he's known for, he can do it effectively. And I think what Dave said, it's kind of finding that balance and knowing where to go. But to me, programming always wins. And I'll stick with that. I've been saying that for years. I've been in radio 23 years, and I'm going to keep going with programming wins.
Well, the facts speak for themselves, right? I'm going to wind up in a little bit of overtime here because I'd be amiss if we didn't talk about this week's football activities, right? I wouldn't even be a good host, right? One of the things we like to do here first, Dave, and we'll let you step up first. Something that really struck you in this past weekend's football action. Don't you do it, Dave? Don't you do it, Dave? Don't do it. Don't do it, Dave. Find something else to do, Dave. Do not do it.
So this is crazy. This year will mark, I think, the 20th, 19th. It's been 19 years. It's been 19 years that Tom Brady has been tormenting me. So 2003, we have a couple quarterback injuries. Ben comes in his rookie year, takes us, I believe it was 15-1. We go to the playoffs, go to the AFC Championship, host the AFC Championship. I spend $800 to take my now wife, we were boyfriend and girlfriend at the time, to the game, you know, get beat, I believe 42-27 in the AFC Championship by Tom Brady with the Patriots. And since then, probably have seen him in person maybe 5, 6, 7 times. I mean, I've done, I think, 3 or 4 games where he's played us. I don't know if you remember a couple years ago, we played him on it was a Sunday afternoon game in December, and we had a catch that, we thought was a touchdown on the 1 yard line that would have, defeated the Patriots, and they said that we didn't complete the catch and it was an incomplete pass. We lost that game. Beat him the next year, kind of in a similar situation in a December game. But I mean, it's been, as a Steelers fan, that's like the one quarterback that has tormented us. So nothing against the Bucs, because I have tons of friends in Tampa. My boy Koo, Casper, Explicit, like lots of homies down there. But like just to be able to, probably the last time that we played Tom Brady, probably to be able to go out on a win was enjoyable for me. So,
and I want to ask both of you guys this, because like I said, I tell people all the time, like, I get to introduce Tom Brady every Sunday, right? And I think last year, to me, I felt like I wasted some of the stuff, because these are the moments, like, now they give me all the footage or whatever. Like, the dude's the GOAT, right? And so when I finally got to actually talk to him, and he was like, yo, you want to take a picture? Yo, everybody's like, bro, you look like the happiest person ever. And I just didn't. I'm like, first of all, the dude is so cool. He's way cooler than I thought he would ever. I don't know what I thought he would be. But speaking to him, right, we talked about the fact that he wants to come out. He's been coming out to the Jay-Z public announcement song since he was like in New England, right? It's been his song for years, right? So just the conversation, it wasn't like rushed or anything, right? So I guess I want to ask both of you guys, when a dude like that comes to your stadium, is the excitement that much more in the building? Because Tom, I guess it's like if you were a basketball fan, right? Jordan finally comes, or when Kobe was alive, or even LeBron now, or Steph Curry, right? These guys, they don't come every day, right? They're not somebody that we see every day with a skill level, that sort of excitement, right? So when a Brady, who's arguably the GOAT, right? We could go either way with some other people they want to throw in there, right? But he's the GOAT. When he comes to a stadium, like when he comes to Pittsburgh, Arizona, or you guys are in the building that he shows up at, is the excitement on another level?
I mean, I definitely feel so. I mean, and not just Brady. I mean, I know, this summer with the Pirates, who, are not a great baseball team, but whenever the Yankees were in town and Aaron Judge was in town, I mean, it was like sold out. And when he wasn't in town, there was like 9,000 people at the game, So, yeah, I mean, I absolutely think, I mean, I was told, I don't know for certain, but I was told that this was like, I mean, the Steelers sell out every game, but like I was told this was kind of the most in-demand game of the year as far as like secondhand ticket sales and things like that. And we actually had a lot of Tampa fans in the building, because the Tampa Bay Lightning played the Penguins in Pittsburgh on Saturday night. I think it was Saturday or Friday. So we had a lot of fans that came in and like went to both games,
wow.
Which we ended up, I believe, 2-0 over the weekend. But
Crisco, can I get your thoughts on this? This guy, this is what he's going to do.
No, you know what? To answer the question, I'm going to say yes off top. I mean, I've already to the point where I've already know what I'm wearing that game. Like, you don't understand. I'm already
got your clothes out.
I get my picture with Tom Brady, because I mean, my middle school was the Patriots. So I've been following the Patriots for a long time, right? And so Bledsoe, Brady, and now with Tampa Bay, I mean, Brady's just my guy. And so I think if I'm this excited, and it's not starstruck, it's not, whatever the case may be, but this is definitely like the GOAT. Tom Brady is the GOAT. And I think fans, just people who love this sport already, and it does bring a different type of energy, not just to the stadium, but it's going to bring a different type of energy to the city. Christmas, we're playing y'all Christmas Day, and we might see some Christmas magic. I don't know what's going to happen. The Cardinals can give you anything at any given time. So I'm just waiting for this game, because I want to be a part of that energy.
Christmas magic. Look, man. I ain't gonna look, man. You guys are my guys, but I ain't gonna keep doing this, man. I'm just not gonna keep sitting here after, and it was kind of a like I love football, but I felt, is it just me, and we got like 2 minutes here? Am I the only one that felt like, seriously, I felt like this weekend overall, it was like a mid weekend. Like, and I'm not even a smoker, but I felt like it was a very mid type of weekend for football. And quickly, do you guys feel differently? Was it exciting? Well, you were in Pittsburgh with the GOAT, and the Steelers' energy is crazy. Arizona, you guys got the weather out there too. I mean, maybe you didn't feel like me, but maybe it's because we didn't win. Maybe that's why I feel like it was a mid-weekend.
Well, we were in Seattle. We took the L, and I felt, like I thought after playing the way the team played against the Eagles that there's going to be some serious improvement. We looked good. We finally put points on the board in the first quarter, which we hadn't done all season. So I was thinking we going in. And then the things just didn't kind of develop. Hollywood Brown is out now. I heard maybe for the season. Justin Pugh, our offensive lineman, is out now for the season. The good news is we get D-Hop back this week against the Saints Thursday night.
This dude added some sound effects. He added some sound effects because he's happy D-Hop's coming back. Look at this. This is what happens when you rock with a dude out in Arizona. This is what happens. Dave, what'd you feel about the weekend?
So, I actually thought it was a pretty good weekend. I mean, obviously you had, which I didn't get to see, but obviously the Chiefs and Bills are always a matchup. Seeing Mahomes versus Allen, which was a good game as always, is a matchup I feel like everyone always wants to see. I thought the Sunday night game was good. I did get to watch some of that while I was at my Sunday night gig. I thought that it looked like it might be a blowout, and then the Cowboys came back and made it interesting. Obviously, those two teams are kind of, hated and heated rivals. So, I still don't understand why Denver is on primetime every single week. But other than that, I mean, no. And I grew up, I will say, like in the 80s when I grew up, it was like the Steelers kind of only downtime in modern history. And I actually was like a huge John Elway fan as a kid. Like I loved John Elway. So like I love the Broncos, but like I don't understand why every week they're on like prime time and they can't even score a touchdown. It doesn't make any sense.
They are unhappy about that money they gave Russell Westbrook, and Future's all to blame.
Wilson, you're in the wrong sport.
Oh yeah, my bad. Russell Wilson, my bad. Yeah, you're right. Let me shift my sports over because you know what? I was so busy.
Maybe they should try Russell Westbrook.
I was so busy trying to get the Future part in, because Future was at the top of my mind as I was thinking about it, that you're right. But yeah, maybe Future is the problem, though. Future might be the problem.
All they're getting is 3-pointers anyways, so.
Fellas, man, I appreciate you as always. Dave, man, I appreciate you taking the time, man. Where can they find you at on social media?
Sure. You can get me at DJ Digital Dave 1 on Instagram. I mean, that's kind of the main social media I use. And check out my Mixcloud, mixcloud.com/DJ Digital Dave. Got tons of different mixes, all kind of genres and stuff on there.
Appreciate you, man. Crisco, where can they find you at, sir?
Yeah, hit me up, everything at Crisco Kidd, 2 Ds on the Kid. And one thing I learned today is I'm going to have to tell my family, stop singing the Here We Go song. My dad, he just loves that record, and apparently it's not popping in Pittsburgh anymore. So thanks for the lesson, Digital Dave.
Yo, man, for the entire family here at Radio Influence, man, my guy Jason, man, I appreciate you rocking with us, man. Players playlist right here, man, with my co-host, man, the dude Crisco Kidd. I appreciate you getting up early every week, man. And again, Dave, I appreciate you taking the time, man. And as always, man, healthy convos with you every time we've ever spoken, whether it's been in writing or whatever. And I appreciate you again, man, taking the time. And as always, man, look out for these dudes right here. I am DJ Ekin across all platforms and on YouTube at DJ Ekin TV. Man, players playlist right here. Radio Influence in the house. Digital Dave, Crisco Kidd. I appreciate you, man. Love.